Have you ever woken up one morning and felt that something in the world was changing? The air, the weather, even the way people talked around you sometimes, small things tell big stories. I want you to imagine this morning with me. The sun rises slowly, soft and golden, spilling its light through your window. You take a deep breath. The air feels warmer than usual, and you notice the birds are quieter. You step outside and see the neighbor's garden. Some flowers bloom beautifully, but others look dry, tired, like they are asking for help. You feel something in your heart, a question forming quietly. Why is the world feeling different? You hear about strange storms on the news, about rivers that dry too fast, and ice that melts in the far north. You start to feel curious, maybe a little worried, because it seems like the earth is not the same as it used to be. And that curiosity, that worry, is the start of a journey that can change the way you see your life and your world. You remember stories from when you were a child. Maybe your grandparents told you about winters that were long and snowy or summers that were cool and gentle. Now, the winters are shorter and the summers feel hotter. You hear about wildfires in distant countries and floods where people never expected rain. You wonder, what is happening? It is not just one story, it is many stories happening all over the world. And when you think deeply about it, you realize these stories are connected. They connect to the choices people make every day, to the energy we use, the food we eat, and the way we live. This feeling, this awareness, is what we call realization. You understand, slowly and clearly, that humans and nature are connected. Every action matters. Every choice has a consequence. This morning, you decide to walk in the nearby park. The sun feels warm on your face and the air smells of fresh grass. Children laugh as they run, dogs bark happily, and trees stand tall. But you notice something different. Some trees have fewer leaves than usual. Some flowers droop, tired from heat or lack of water. You see a small river running through the park, and the water seems lower than before. You feel a small pang of sadness, but also curiosity. You ask yourself, how did this happen? How did we let this change take place? You realize the world is fragile, but also strong. Nature has a way of healing if we give it care. But it cannot fix everything alone. People, communities, and governments all have a role. You begin to understand the challenge. Climate change is not a single problem. It is many problems connected. Rising temperatures, melting ice, stronger storms, disappearing animals, food shortages, and water problems, all of these are signs. And each sign is a call to action. As you walk, you remember reading about extreme weather events in different countries. You read about farmers in Africa struggling with drought, people in Asia facing floods, and animals losing their habitats in forests far away. You feel a mix of emotions, sadness, worry, and a small spark of hope. The hope comes from knowing that understanding is the first step. Before change can happen, someone must notice, someone must care. And that someone can be you. Even small actions can make a difference. Turning off lights, using less plastic, planting trees, learning to recycle, or talking with friends about the environment, all of these are pieces of a larger puzzle. And when many people act together, the puzzle becomes a picture of hope. You stop by a bench under a large oak tree. The wind moves the leaves gently, and you think about time, past, present, and future. The past shows a world with balance. The present shows a world asking for attention. The future? It is uncertain, but it depends on choices made today. You begin to think of yourself in this story, not as a small, powerless person, but as someone who can observe, reflect, and act. You start to imagine small changes in your own life. Maybe you will walk more and drive less. Maybe you will talk with neighbors about planting trees. Maybe you will use water and electricity more carefully. Each action may feel small, but together they can become powerful. As you sit there, you remember a story from school about the icebergs in the Arctic. They are melting faster than before. Polar bears and penguins face challenges because of this. Scientists explain that human activities, especially burning fossil fuels, produce gases that trap heat in the atmosphere. This is called global warming. You think global warming is serious, but it is not hopeless. Knowledge gives power. Understanding what is happening helps people take action. And action creates hope. You feel a sense of responsibility. Not blame, not fear, but responsibility. You can care, you can change, and you can inspire others. Then you notice children playing near the river. They laugh and splash, unaware of the deeper story of climate change. And you realize something important. The choices made today will shape their future. You want their laughter to continue, to have rivers that flow, forests that breathe, and skies that shine. This thought fills you with energy and determination. You stand up, take a deep breath, and make a silent promise to yourself. You will learn more, share what you know, and act in small, meaningful ways. You will not wait for someone else to solve the problem. You will be part of the solution. This morning of realization is not just about noticing problems. It is about understanding connection. Humans and nature are intertwined. Every small action, every habit, every conversation matters. You understand that climate change is not a distant story. It is here, it is now, and it involves everyone. And you feel ready to explore this journey more deeply, to discover ways to live more responsibly, to help your world heal, and to inspire others. As the sun rises higher, you walk back home, feeling a quiet sense of hope. You know the journey will not be easy. Challenges will come. Change takes time. People may resist or misunderstand. But you also know that every step matters. You think about the future, imagining cities with cleaner air, forests full of animals, oceans alive with fish, and children laughing freely. This vision feels possible because it starts with small actions today. You reach your home, open a notebook, and begin to write. You write down your observations, your feelings, and the small actions you want to take. Writing helps your thoughts flow, like water through a river. And as you write, you realize that learning about climate change, thinking about responsibility, and practicing English all connect. You can tell stories, explain ideas, and share hope with others in simple, clear words. Your voice matters. Your story matters. And by telling it slowly, carefully, and warmly, you can help others understand, reflect, and act. This morning was just the beginning. The realization has sparked curiosity. And curiosity leads to exploration, understanding, and transformation. You now feel ready to move to the next step of your journey, learning deeply about the causes of climate change, the challenges humans face, and the ways each person can contribute. And as you continue, you remind yourself, small steps matter, voices matter, and every story told with care can create change. After that morning of realization, you feel a gentle urgency to learn more. The sun is higher now, shining warmly, and the world seems alive, but fragile at the same time. You sit down with a cup of tea or coffee, your notebook open, and you ask yourself a simple question: why is the earth changing? The answer is not one thing. It is many things, all connected. You begin slowly, thinking about energy, the power that lights homes, runs machines, and fuels cars. Energy comes from coal, oil, gas, and electricity. These are called fossil fuels. Long ago, these fuels formed naturally from plants and animals buried under the ground for millions of years. Today, humans dig them up and burn them to make energy. When we burn them, invisible gases rise into the sky. These gases trap heat in the Earth's atmosphere, making the planet warmer. Scientists call this process the greenhouse effect. You feel a little surprised. Something so small, air, gases, invisible heat, can change the entire planet. And it is happening because of human activity, because of the way people live and work. You think about transportation. Cars, buses, planes, and ships move people and goods across the world. They are convenient, but they also use fuel that produces greenhouse gases. Even when you drive to work or school, or take a flight for vacation, you are part of this system. It does not mean you are doing something bad. It means your choices have an impact, and awareness is the first step to change. Then you think about energy at home. Lights, heaters, air conditioners, refrigerators, they all use electricity. Sometimes this electricity comes from burning fossil fuels. You imagine how small actions, like turning off a light or using less water, can slowly reduce these gases. You realize that learning about climate change is not just about numbers and charts. It is about daily life, habits, and choices. Next, you consider food. You think about the meals you eat, the food you buy from markets and shops. Did you know that producing meat, especially beef, creates a lot of greenhouse gases? Cows produce methane, a gas even stronger than carbon dioxide at warming the planet. Growing crops also affects the earth. Farmers use water, energy, and fertilizers, which sometimes produce gases and pollute rivers. You feel a little amazed. Every bite of food, every drink of water has a connection to the planet. It does not mean you must stop eating or living normally. It means you can think carefully, learn, and choose responsibly. Maybe eating a little less meat, wasting less food, or supporting local farmers can help. Each small choice becomes a thread in the larger story of responsibility. You open your notebook again and write slowly: energy, transportation, food. These are the main causes, but there is more. You remember reading about deforestation. Trees are the lungs of the earth. They absorb carbon dioxide, clean the air, and provide homes for animals. But humans cut down forests for farms, cities, and wood. When trees disappear, the air becomes heavier with carbon dioxide, and animals lose their homes. You imagine a forest filled with birds, insects, and animals. Then you imagine the same forest with half of it gone, silent and empty. The difference feels real, even in your mind. You realize that human actions are powerful. They can destroy, but they can also protect. Responsibility means understanding power. It means realizing that every choice matters. As the day moves forward, you think about industry and factories. They produce the things we use: clothes, furniture, electronics, but also smoke, gas, and chemicals. The smoke rises to the sky, and some of it stays there, trapping heat. You wonder why people don't always act faster to stop this. Then you remember something important. People are learning. Scientists, engineers, and leaders around the world are working to find solutions. Renewable energy, like solar, wind, and hydroelectric power, is one way to replace fossil fuels. Recycling, planting trees, reducing waste, these are actions everyone can take. You feel hope. Knowledge is power, and humans have the ability to change if they choose to act. Now, you reflect on your own daily habits. You notice your electricity bill, your transportation, and the food you buy. You think, how can I live responsibly? Maybe you will take shorter showers, turn off and use lights, ride a bike more, or walk instead of driving. You may start conversations with friends or family about climate change. Small steps seem simple, but together they form a strong path forward. You realize that change starts with understanding and responsibility, not fear. When you see the cause, you also see the way forward. You remember a story about communities that acted together. In one small town, people planted trees along streets and rivers. They started recycling programs, shared rides to work, and grew local vegetables. Slowly, the air became cleaner, rivers became clearer, and wildlife returned. Children grew up learning to care for the earth. You feel inspired. You think, even small communities can make a big difference. Even I can start something small. Responsibility is not just about feeling guilty. It is about caring, learning, and acting. Next, you reflect on the idea of time. Climate change does not happen suddenly. It builds slowly over years. You understand that the sooner humans act, the better the future can be. But the story is not just about statistics or dates. It is about lives, people, animals, and nature. When a farmer loses crops because of heat, when a bird loses a forest, when a river dries up, these are real experiences. You feel empathy, a warm and heavy feeling connecting you to the world. Responsibility grows from empathy. Caring about others naturally leads to action. As the afternoon passes, you think about communication. How can people share knowledge, inspire action, and create hope? One way is through storytelling. Telling simple, clear stories about climate change can help friends, families, and communities understand what is happening. You realize that language is powerful. Words can motivate, explain, and encourage. Even your voice, when practiced in English, can reach others and help them care and act. Learning English in this way becomes part of responsibility. Your voice can travel far and inspire change. You take a walk outside, noticing small things, the way leaves move in the wind, how children play, how a neighbor waters their garden. You reflect on patterns and connections. Every small action, every choice, links to the earth. You notice litter on the street and feel a small urge to pick it up. It is a small action, yes, but it is part of a larger story. Responsibility is not about perfection. It is about consistent care, learning, and action over time. You feel determined, knowing that understanding causes is the foundation for real change. By evening, you are quiet and thoughtful. You realize that responsibility is both personal and collective. You cannot solve everything alone, but you can make choices, influence others, and take steps every day. You remember the morning walk and the children near the river. You want them to grow up in a world that is healthier and safer. You write down more notes. Learn, share, act. Small actions matter. Community matters. Hope matters. The words feel right. They feel like a guide, a gentle map to navigate the complex story of climate change. As night falls, you close your notebook and look at the sky. Stars shine faintly above, the air feels cooler, and you feel a deep sense of reflection. Understanding causes is important, but reflection leads to transformation. You are ready to move from understanding to action. Tomorrow, you will explore solutions, personal habits, and the ways humans can work together to protect the Earth. You feel calm, motivated, and connected. Responsibility is not a burden. It is a chance to care, to act, and to tell a story that matters. This is the end of the day of understanding. You know that the journey is long, but every step counts. Awareness, empathy, and responsibility are seeds. And seeds, when nurtured, grow into actions that can change the world. You feel ready to continue, to explore the next chapter, the challenges humans face, and the creative ways people are solving them. You are ready to speak, learn, and act, one simple step at a time. The next morning, you wake up with a quiet determination. The sun is gentle on your face, and the birds are singing. You remember your notebook, your small list of actions, and the words you wrote yesterday: learn, share, act. Small actions matter. Community matters. Hope matters. Today, you want to explore something new, the challenges of climate change. You know the causes, and you feel responsibility, but challenges are bigger. They are real, sometimes scary, but they also teach lessons. You walk outside, feeling the cool breeze, thinking slowly about what the world faces. You start with the weather. You remember how summers are hotter now and winters are shorter. Storms are stronger, with heavy rain or fierce winds. Sometimes, entire towns lose homes or roads because of floods or hurricanes. You imagine standing in a place where water rises high and people run to find safety. The fear is real, but so is courage. Communities rebuild, neighbors help each other, and strangers show kindness. You realize that the challenge is not only nature's force, but also human vulnerability. People are affected differently depending on where they live, their wealth, and their access to help. Climate change is fair to no one, but the way humans respond shows the strength of connection, care, and courage. Next, you think about water. Rivers, lakes, and oceans are changing. Some rivers dry up in summer, some flood in the rainy season. People need water to drink, cook, and grow food. Without water, life becomes very difficult. Farmers struggle to grow crops, children cannot drink safely, and animals lose their habitats. You imagine a farmer checking his empty fields, feeling sadness, but also searching for ways to save the soil and water. You understand that humans must adapt. Dams, irrigation systems, rainwater collection, and careful farming are ways people face water challenges. The lesson is clear: problems are real, but solutions, big or small, are possible when humans think and act together. This is the end of the day of understanding. You know that the journey is long, but every step counts. Awareness, empathy, and responsibility are seeds. And seeds, when nurtured, grow into actions that can change the world. You feel ready to continue, to explore the next chapter, the challenges humans face, and the creative ways people are solving them. You are ready to speak, learn, and act, one simple step at a time. The next morning, you wake up with a quiet determination. The sun is gentle on your face, and the birds are singing. You remember your notebook, your small list of actions, and the words you wrote yesterday: learn, share, act. Small actions matter. Community matters. Hope matters. Today, you want to explore something new: the challenges of climate change. You know the causes, and you feel responsibility, but challenges are bigger. They are real, sometimes scary, but they also teach lessons. You walk outside, feeling the cool breeze, thinking slowly about what the world faces. You start with the weather. You remember how summers are hotter now and winters are shorter. Storms are stronger, with heavy rain or fierce winds. Sometimes, entire towns lose homes or roads because of floods or hurricanes. You imagine standing in a place where water rises high and people run to find safety. The fear is real, but so is courage. Communities rebuild, neighbors help each other, and strangers show kindness. You realize that the challenge is not only nature's force, but also human vulnerability. People are affected differently depending on where they live, their wealth, and their access to help. Climate change is fair to no one, but the way humans respond shows the strength of connection, care, and courage. Next, you think about water. Rivers, lakes, and oceans are changing. Some rivers dry up in summer, some flood in the rainy season. People need water to drink, cook, and grow food. Without water, life becomes very difficult. Farmers struggle to grow crops, children cannot drink safely, and animals lose their habitats. You imagine a farmer checking his empty fields, feeling sadness, but also searching for ways to save the soil and water. You understand that humans must adapt. Dams, irrigation systems, rainwater collection, and careful farming are ways people face water challenges. The lesson is clear: problems are real, but solutions, big or small, are possible when humans think and act together. Then you think about forests and animals. Trees are being cut down, fires spread faster, and animals lose homes. You picture a forest where once there was a symphony of birds, insects, and rustling leaves. Now, silence grows in places where life once thrived. But humans can help. People plant new trees, create protected areas for wildlife, and rescue animals when disasters strike. You imagine volunteers working carefully to plant saplings or clean forests. Each action takes time, patience, and care. You realize that facing challenges means effort, and every effort matters. Even small actions create hope. You also think about heat. Cities are hotter than before because of concrete buildings, cars, and factories. People feel tired, children play less outside, and the elderly face danger. You imagine a city in summer, streets empty under the scorching sun. But humans adapt. Green parks, shaded streets, water fountains, and careful planning make life better. You see how creativity and care can soften even the hardest challenges. Nature challenges humans, but humans challenge themselves to respond with wisdom and kindness. Next, you think about the global scale of the problem. Climate change is not limited to one country or continent. Heat in one place may cause floods in another. Ice melting in the north affects oceans far away. Animals migrate and weather patterns shift. The world is connected. You feel a mixture of awe and responsibility. What happens in one place can affect people thousands of miles away. The lesson is clear. Thinking locally and acting globally are both important. Small actions may start at home, but their effect can grow far beyond. As you walk slowly through your neighborhood, you notice signs of human resilience. A community garden thrives despite a dry summer. Children help water plants. Neighbors share vegetables they grew. People are careful with electricity and water. You feel a spark of hope. Challenges are real, but humans have imagination, cooperation, and courage. Facing a challenge does not mean giving up. It means thinking, trying, and learning. It means inspiring others to act. You remember a story about a coastal town that faced flooding every year. Houses were damaged, roads washed away, and life became difficult. But the people did not give up. They built stronger homes, created higher pathways, and planted mangroves along the coast. Mangroves helped stop floods and gave homes to birds and fish. Slowly, the town became safer and healthier. You realize the lesson. Challenges are opportunities for creativity, learning, and community. The harder the challenge, the more humans can grow in courage, skill, and care. Next, you think about food security. Farmers face unpredictable rains, pests, and soil problems. People in cities feel the effect as food prices rise or certain fruits and vegetables disappear. But solutions exist. Farmers learn new techniques, use technology, and share knowledge. Communities start local markets, grow food in small spaces, and support each other. The story of food is a story of patience and resilience. You feel inspired. Every meal you eat, every garden you see, every farmer you imagine, is part of this larger story. Facing challenges teaches gratitude and awareness. You also think about human migration. When areas become too dry, too hot, or flooded, people must move to survive. Families leave homes, schools, and friends. It is difficult, sometimes painful. But again, humans show resilience. New communities form, new friendships grow, and culture adapts. You understand that the story of climate change is also a story of adaptation. Humans face problems, learn lessons, and find ways to survive and thrive. Adaptation is part of responsibility. Understanding challenges motivates action, learning, and care. You also think about human migration. When areas become too dry, too hot, or flooded, people must move to survive. Families leave homes, schools, and friends. It is difficult, sometimes painful. But again, humans show resilience. New communities form, new friendships grow, and culture adapts. You understand that the story of climate change is also a story of adaptation. Humans face problems, learn lessons, and find ways to survive and thrive. Adaptation is part of responsibility. Understanding challenges motivates action, learning, and care. As the afternoon turns to evening, you reflect quietly. You feel both humility and courage. The earth is vast, humans are small, but humans can do great things. Facing climate challenges teaches patience, empathy, and hope. You remember the children by the river, the farmers in distant lands, and the volunteers planting trees. You feel connected to them. Their courage and effort are part of a bigger story, your story, the story of people and the planet. You take a moment to write in your notebook. Challenges are real. Solutions exist. Action matters. Community matters. Hope grows. The words feel like a bridge. They connect awareness with responsibility, fear with courage, and problems with solutions. You understand that learning English, telling stories, and practicing speaking are part of this bridge. Your voice can reach others, explain ideas, and inspire action. Words are small, but powerful. By nightfall, you sit by the window and look at the stars. You think about the vast sky, the silent forests, the flowing rivers, and the human communities working together. The challenges of climate change are serious, but humans are resilient. With courage, learning, and collaboration, the world can adapt and heal. You feel a quiet determination. Tomorrow, you will explore solutions and personal responsibility in deeper ways. You feel ready to act, to share knowledge, and to inspire others. You understand that challenges are not obstacles. They are invitations to grow, care, and create change. This is the end of the day of facing challenges. You feel a mixture of awareness, responsibility, and hope. You know that the path forward is long, but every step, every action, every word shared builds momentum. You are ready to continue to the next chapter, understanding solutions, practical actions, and how each person can contribute to a better world. The next morning, the sun rises softly, painting the sky in orange and pink. You wake up with a quiet excitement. After learning about the causes of climate change and the challenges the world faces, you feel ready to explore solutions. You remember your notebook, the words you wrote: learn, share, act. Small actions matter. Community matters. Hope matters. Today, you want to think carefully about what can be done, not just by governments or scientists, but by you and everyone. You step outside, breathing the fresh morning air, and feel ready to imagine a better world. First, you think about energy. You remember that burning fossil fuels warms the planet. But humans have discovered ways to use energy without harming the Earth as much. Solar energy, wind energy, and hydropower are some examples. Solar panels catch sunlight and turn it into electricity. Wind turbines use the wind to create energy. Hydropower uses water flowing through rivers to produce power. You imagine a city where rooftops are full of solar panels, where wind turbines spin gently in the distance, and where electricity is clean and strong. You feel hopeful. People can make this change. Governments, companies, and communities can support renewable energy. You think about your own home. Turning off lights when not in use, using energy-efficient bulbs, and choosing clean energy sources are small actions that make a difference. Next, you think about transportation. Cars, buses, and planes are useful, but they create greenhouse gases. You imagine riding a bicycle along a quiet street, feeling the wind on your face. You think about walking to nearby places instead of taking a car. Public transportation, carpooling, and electric vehicles are solutions. You feel encouraged. Even small changes like walking, biking, or sharing a ride can reduce pollution and help the planet. You remember stories of cities that have bike lanes, electric buses, and pedestrian streets. People enjoy cleaner air, quieter streets, and healthier lives. The lesson is simple. Thoughtful choices in transportation can protect the Earth and improve daily life. Then you think about food. You remember that producing meat and crops creates gases and uses energy. You imagine a garden filled with vegetables, fruits, and herbs. You imagine farmers working carefully, using natural methods to grow food. Supporting local farmers, eating more vegetables, and reducing food waste are simple ways to help. You picture families sharing meals, composting leftover food, and making small, conscious choices. Even small actions, like not wasting bread or water, matter. Food is not just nourishment, it is a way to care for the Earth. You feel motivated to make small, positive changes in your diet and shopping habits. Next, you think about forests and trees. You remember that cutting down forests increases carbon dioxide in the air and hurts animals. But humans can plant trees and protect forests. You imagine communities planting trees in parks, along streets, and near rivers. You imagine forests growing strong, birds singing, and animals returning. Trees clean the air, provide shade, and create beauty. You feel inspired. Planting a tree, joining a community project, or supporting forest protection programs are small steps that create big change. Even one person can make a difference when they act with care and consistency. Then you think about waste. Plastic, paper, and other materials are often thrown away carelessly. They pollute rivers, oceans, and land. But humans can recycle, reduce, and reuse. You imagine a neighborhood where everyone sorts their trash carefully. Plastic bottles are recycled, old clothes are reused, and paper is turned into new paper. You imagine children learning to care for the earth by reducing waste. You feel hopeful. Every item you recycle, every piece of trash you avoid, helps the planet. Responsibility is practical and simple when you take small steps every day. Next, you think about water. Rivers, lakes, and oceans are precious. People can conserve water by using it carefully. Shorter showers, fixing leaks, collecting rainwater, and watering plants early in the morning are all helpful. You imagine families using water thoughtfully, farmers watering crops efficiently, and communities keeping rivers clean. Every drop matters. Water is life, and caring for it is a responsibility everyone can share. You feel a quiet pride imagining that your small actions, added to the actions of many others, can protect life itself. You also think about education. People must learn about climate change and solutions. You imagine a school where children study the environment, plant gardens, and talk about sustainability. You imagine teachers showing students how to care for energy, water, and nature. You imagine children sharing knowledge with their families. Education spreads responsibility and hope. You feel inspired. Teaching and learning about the environment is a powerful action. Every person who understands can teach others, and knowledge grows like a tree, spreading roots and branches across communities. Next, you reflect on community action. People acting together can achieve great things. You remember stories of neighborhoods cleaning rivers, planting trees, and sharing resources. You imagine a local meeting where neighbors discuss ways to reduce pollution, grow food together, and protect animals. Small projects become bigger when people cooperate. You realize that responsibility is not only personal, it is also shared. Communities can support each other, inspire each other, and make a lasting impact. You feel connected to your neighbors, friends, and even people far away who are also taking action. Then, you think about technology and innovation. Humans have created ways to reduce greenhouse gases, clean oceans, and save energy. Solar-powered cars, electric buses, energy-efficient buildings, and smart devices are all tools to protect the planet. You feel excitement thinking about the possibilities. Technology is not perfect, but it shows human creativity and potential. Combining thoughtful choices, community action, and innovation can create a powerful force for change. As the day moves forward, you sit quietly and reflect. You realize that solutions are everywhere, waiting for action. Personal habits, community projects, education, technology, and policy can work together to heal the earth. You feel empowered because responsibility is not a burden, it is a gift. Every choice you make can protect life, inspire others, and create a hopeful future. You imagine your own actions growing into stories of change. One tree planted, one bicycle ride, one conversation about climate change, they all matter. By evening, you take a slow walk. The sun begins to set, painting the sky in soft colors. You notice people acting responsibly, someone watering plants, children recycling, neighbors sharing food. You feel part of this world, connected to all these small, meaningful actions. You write in your notebook, solutions are real. Actions are powerful. Responsibility is shared. Hope grows through care. The words feel alive. They remind you that the story of climate change is not only about problems. It is also about people learning, caring, and acting. As night falls, you look at the stars and reflect. The Earth faces challenges, but solutions are possible. Humans have knowledge, creativity, and cooperation. Responsibility is both personal and collective. Every small step matters. You feel calm, inspired, and ready to continue. Tomorrow, you will explore deeper reflections, how learning English, sharing stories, and acting responsibly can make your voice part of the global story. You feel motivated to speak, to act, and to inspire others with simple, clear words. This is the end of the day of solutions. You feel empowered, hopeful, and responsible. You understand that real change grows slowly, with patience, effort, and care. The journey continues, and your story is part of it. Small actions, shared knowledge, and community cooperation can shape a future where people and nature live in harmony. The next morning, the sun rises gently over your neighborhood. You wake up feeling thoughtful, remembering the last few days of learning about climate change, its causes, challenges, and solutions. Today, you want to think about yourself, your daily habits, your choices, and your ability to inspire change. You realize that while governments, companies, and scientists are important, you also have a role. Every small action you take can make a difference. You step outside, feeling the cool morning air, and begin a quiet walk through your neighborhood, noticing small details that connect you to the earth. You start with your daily habits. Simple things: turning off lights when leaving a room, closing the tap while brushing teeth, using reusable bags, or recycling, may feel small, but they add up. You imagine doing these small things consistently. Each action is like a small ripple in a large pond. The ripple moves outward, touching others in ways you may never see. Responsibility begins in small, simple steps. You feel a sense of pride knowing that even tiny actions, done every day, are powerful. Next, you think about food. You remember that meat production, food waste, and energy use all impact the environment. You imagine planning meals carefully, eating only what you need, and composting leftovers. You imagine buying local fruits and vegetables, supporting farmers who grow food responsibly. These small choices may seem ordinary, but they're acts of care for the planet. You feel motivated knowing that your meals can be part of a larger story of hope and responsibility. Then you think about travel. You imagine taking the bus instead of driving, riding a bicycle, or walking to nearby places. You picture planning trips carefully, sharing rides, or using electric vehicles. Every choice to reduce pollution is part of a larger responsibility. You understand that convenience is not always the best choice, but thoughtful actions create balance. You feel empowered knowing that travel, when done responsibly, can reduce harm and inspire others to do the same. Next, you think about water. You notice small ways to conserve water every day. Taking shorter showers, watering plants in the morning or evening, and fixing leaks can save large amounts of water over time. You imagine families and communities practicing these habits together. You feel inspired. Every drop of water saved is life preserved for humans, animals, and plants. Responsibility is not only about understanding, it is about acting consistently. Then, you reflect on communication. Sharing knowledge and inspiring others is a powerful action. You remember the children playing near the river, the neighbors planting trees, and the volunteers cleaning forests. You realize that telling stories, teaching simple ideas, and explaining small actions can inspire others. You imagine sitting with a friend or family member, speaking slowly, using simple words, and sharing what you learned. You feel hope. Stories travel further than actions alone because they reach hearts and minds, inspiring thought and care. You also think about English. Learning English is part of responsibility because it allows you to reach more people. You can tell stories about climate change, explain causes, share solutions, and encourage action. Your words can connect people across countries, inspiring communities to work together. You imagine recording a small voice message, making a video, or telling a story in class. You feel excited. Your voice, when clear, simple, and kind, can make a difference. Language becomes a bridge to understanding, empathy, and action. Next, you think about creativity. You imagine writing poems, drawing pictures, or making videos about climate change. Each creative act teaches, inspires, and motivates. You imagine children learning from your stories, friends discussing solutions you suggest, and neighbors joining projects because of your example. You feel motivated. Personal responsibility is not only about action, it is also about inspiration. Your ideas, shared thoughtfully, can multiply the impact of your own habits. You walk slowly past a park where people are planting flowers. Some are picking up trash, some are watering trees, and some are talking about saving energy. You feel connected. Personal responsibility is part of community. Your choices influence others, and others' choices inspire you. You imagine a chain reaction. One person acts, another learns, another teaches, and the world slowly changes. Every small habit, when repeated and shared, grows into meaningful change. Then you think about reflection. At the end of each day, you can pause and ask yourself, did I act responsibly today? Did I make choices that help the earth? Did I share knowledge or inspire someone else? These questions are gentle, not harsh. They help you grow, learn, and become aware of your impact. You imagine keeping a journal, writing small observations, and celebrating small successes. Reflection strengthens responsibility, turning simple acts into conscious habits. You also consider hope. Responsibility is not a burden, it is an opportunity to act, inspire, and change. You imagine a future where children play in clean parks, rivers flow clearly, forests thrive, and communities work together. This vision is not impossible. It grows from small actions, thoughtful words, shared knowledge, and persistent care. Every step you take is part of the larger story of hope. You feel inspired, realizing that action, storytelling, and learning English can work together to create positive change. As the day moves into evening, you sit by your window, notebook in hand, writing, responsibility starts with me. Small actions matter. Stories inspire. English connects people. Hope grows through care. The words feel alive. They remind you that the journey is ongoing, that learning, speaking, and acting are interconnected. You are part of a global story, a story that grows with every word spoken, every habit practiced, and every idea shared. Finally, you reflect quietly on the power of personal responsibility. You are not powerless. Your choices, your voice, and your creativity can influence the world. You feel a sense of calm determination. Tomorrow will bring new opportunities to act, speak, and inspire. Every habit, every story, and every lesson practiced slowly builds a better future. You understand that personal responsibility is not only about the planet, it is about connecting with people, caring deeply, and creating lasting impact. This is the end of the day of personal responsibility. You feel empowered, inspired, and ready to continue your journey. You know that learning English, telling stories, and practicing small actions are all part of shaping a better world. The story of climate change, hope, and responsibility continues, and your voice is a meaningful part of it. The morning light comes softly through your window. You wake up with a calm feeling, remembering all the days of learning about climate change, responsibility, and action. You think about everything you have discovered, the causes, the challenges, the solutions, and your own personal role. Today, you want to reflect deeply and connect all these lessons into your own story. You step outside and feel the cool breeze. Birds sing softly and the air feels fresh. You notice small details, leaves moving gently, sunlight on the pavement, a neighbor watering their garden. Every detail reminds you that the earth is alive and your life is connected to it. You begin by thinking about understanding. You remember learning about fossil fuels, energy use, transportation, food, and deforestation. You remember how small choices can have big impacts. You feel grateful for this knowledge. Understanding gives you power. It helps you see the world clearly and make better decisions. You imagine a timeline of your life, filled with moments where choices mattered, turning off a light, planting a tree, taking a short shower, walking instead of driving. You see a pattern forming. Small, thoughtful actions build a stronger, more responsible life. Understanding transforms fear into awareness, and awareness becomes the first step toward hope. Next, you reflect on challenges. You remember floods, heat waves, disappearing forests, and water shortages. At first, they felt overwhelming. You even felt fear and helplessness. But then you realized that challenges teach courage, patience, and creativity. You imagine the people you read about: farmers protecting crops, communities planting trees, children learning to care for the earth. Their resilience inspires you. Challenges are not only obstacles, they are opportunities to grow, to think, and to act. You feel a quiet pride knowing that every challenge faced carefully becomes a lesson learned and a story told. Then, you reflect on solutions. Renewable energy, careful water use, responsible food habits, recycling, community action, all of these show that change is possible. You see how solutions connect to your daily habits and choices. You imagine yourself making thoughtful decisions every day, from energy use to transportation to conversations with friends. Each choice adds to a larger ripple of action. You feel hopeful. Solutions are not abstract ideas, they are practical, achievable, and effective. You understand that hope grows through action, one small step at a time. You also reflect on personal responsibility. You realize that responsibility is not about fear or guilt. It is about care, awareness, and action. You feel empowered knowing that your habits, voice, and creativity matter. You remember how learning English can help you share stories, inspire others, and connect communities. Your voice, practiced with clarity, emotion, and patience, becomes part of the global story. You imagine sharing lessons with friends, family, and strangers, simple words that carry big meaning. Responsibility transforms your life into a story of action, care, and inspiration. Next, you reflect on empathy. You feel the connections between your life and the lives of others. You think about children playing near rivers, farmers tending fields, neighbors planting gardens, and volunteers cleaning forests. You imagine their daily struggles, their small victories, and their hope. Empathy grows in your heart, connecting you to the earth and its people. You realize that care is contagious. When you act responsibly, others notice. When you speak clearly and kindly, others listen. Your story becomes intertwined with the stories of many, creating a larger, shared narrative of hope and transformation. You also reflect on growth. Learning about climate change, responsibility, and solutions has changed you. You are more aware, thoughtful, and patient. You notice habits you can improve, conversations you can have, and actions you can take. You see your own transformation as part of the ongoing story of life on Earth. You feel stronger, not because the world is easy, but because you have learned to act wisely, share knowledge, and inspire change. Growth comes from learning, reflecting, and taking consistent action. Then you think about storytelling. You realize that stories connect knowledge, action, and emotion. Stories help people understand challenges and solutions in ways that numbers and facts cannot. You imagine telling stories about simple actions, planting a tree, reducing waste, conserving water, and how these stories inspire hope. You feel excited about using English to speak slowly, clearly, and emotionally. Every word you speak, every story you share, adds to the global effort to care for the planet. You understand that language is not just communication, it is a tool for transformation. Next, you reflect on continuity. Life is a journey, and every day brings opportunities to act responsibly and inspire change. You imagine a timeline of your days, filled with small habits, thoughtful choices, and shared stories. You see how yesterday's learning connects to today's actions and tomorrow's possibilities. You feel a sense of peace. Responsibility, action, and hope are not one-time events. They are ongoing practices that grow stronger with time. As the afternoon sun shines, you reflect on gratitude. You are grateful for the knowledge you have gained, for the people who inspire you, and for the ability to make a difference. You feel gratitude for the earth, its beauty, and its resilience. Gratitude strengthens your desire to act, to care, and to share. You write in your notebook, understanding, challenges, solutions, responsibility, empathy, growth, stories, continuity, gratitude. These are my guide. The words feel alive, like a gentle map for living responsibly and inspiring others. By evening, you sit quietly near a window, watching the sky change colors. Stars begin to appear, soft and steady. You reflect on your transformation. You are more aware, more thoughtful, and more empowered. You understand that climate change is a serious challenge, but humans have courage, creativity, and responsibility. You feel part of a global story, one where small actions, shared knowledge, and clear, emotional stories create hope and change. You feel ready to continue learning, acting, and speaking, knowing that every step matters. Finally, you reflect on the journey itself. You started with curiosity, then learned causes, faced challenges, discovered solutions, practiced responsibility, and connected it all into your personal story. You feel calm, inspired, and determined. You understand that this journey will continue, that each day offers new lessons, new opportunities, and new chances to inspire change. Transformation is ongoing. Reflection allows you to act wisely, speak clearly, and live responsibly. You feel ready for the next chapter of your life, carrying awareness, hope, and a strong sense of purpose. This is the end of the day of reflection and transformation. You feel connected, empowered, and inspired. The story of climate change, responsibility, and hope continues, and your voice, your actions, and your words are part of it. You understand that learning English, practicing storytelling, and acting responsibly are intertwined. You are ready to continue your journey, speaking slowly, clearly, and emotionally, sharing your story with the world, and inspiring change wherever you go. The morning light is soft as you wake up, feeling calm and ready. After many days of learning about climate change, solutions, responsibility, and reflection, today you want to focus on daily life. You want to think about routines, small habits, and long-term actions that can make your life more sustainable. You step outside, feeling the morning breeze, noticing the birds singing and the gentle movement of leaves. Every detail reminds you that the earth is alive, and your daily choices are connected to it. You start with mornings. The first few minutes after waking up are important. You remember to turn off unnecessary lights and devices, saving energy. You take a short shower, careful to use water wisely. You think about breakfast, choosing seasonal fruits, grains, or vegetables. You imagine a simple meal that nourishes your body and cares for the planet. Even small choices, repeated every day, create meaningful change. You feel calm, knowing that your morning routine can be a small act of responsibility. Next, you think about travel. Today, you decide to walk or ride a bicycle to nearby places instead of taking a car. You notice the streets, the people, and the air around you. Walking slowly, you enjoy the world around you and breathe fresh air. Riding a bicycle, you feel the wind on your face and remember that this choice reduces pollution. Each small decision, walking, biking, or taking public transport, adds up over time. You imagine others seeing your example, inspired to act responsibly. Daily routines can influence others, creating a ripple of positive change. Then, you think about food. You plan your meals carefully, avoiding waste. You imagine buying just what you need, storing food properly, and composting leftovers. You picture your kitchen, neat and organized, where every meal is thoughtful. Even snacks are chosen with care. You feel gratitude for the food and the people who grew it. Daily choices about food connect you to farmers, the earth, and your own health. Every conscious meal is an act of care, responsibility, and respect. Next, you consider energy use. At home, you remember to turn off lights, unplug devices not in use, and use energy-efficient appliances. You imagine a home where energy flows wisely, where nothing is wasted. You feel a sense of control and calm, knowing that small, daily actions help protect the earth. Energy habits, repeated every day, are small but powerful ways to live sustainably. You understand that awareness is the first step and consistent action is the second. Then you think about water. Daily habits like turning off the tap while brushing, fixing leaks, and watering plants early in the morning save large amounts of water over time. You imagine a community where everyone uses water carefully. Rivers remain clean, plants grow strong, and animals have enough to drink. Every drop saved is life preserved. Daily mindfulness about water strengthens responsibility, turning awareness into practical care. Next, you reflect on waste. You make a habit of separating recyclables, reusing containers, and avoiding single-use plastics. You imagine a neighborhood where everyone does the same. Streets are cleaner, rivers are safer, and animals are protected. Even small habits, carrying a reusable bag, refusing unnecessary packaging, recycling paper, matter. You feel encouraged. Daily habits shape culture and community over time. Responsibility grows through repetition and consistency. You also consider learning and teaching. Every day, you spend a few minutes reading about sustainability or listening to stories about responsible action. You practice telling simple stories in English, explaining causes, solutions, and personal actions. You imagine friends, family, or classmates listening and learning. Daily practice in learning and sharing knowledge strengthens understanding and inspires others. Small, repeated efforts can create meaningful impact over time. Next, you reflect on community action. You make it a daily habit to connect with neighbors, friends, or online communities about sustainability. Even small conversations about recycling, energy use, or planting trees encourage responsibility. You imagine a web of people sharing knowledge, supporting each other, and taking action together. Daily connection with others amplifies impact. You feel hope knowing that routines, repeated by many, create a culture of care. Then, you think about mindfulness. Every day, you pause for a few minutes to reflect on your actions. Did you act responsibly today? Did you share knowledge or help others understand small habits? Did you make choices that support the earth? These quiet moments of reflection strengthen awareness and encourage thoughtful action. Mindfulness is a daily habit that connects your choices to your values, turning ordinary routines into acts of responsibility. You also consider creativity. Each day, you find time to imagine solutions, share stories, or create small projects. Even drawing a picture, writing a short story, or explaining an idea in English can inspire others. Daily creativity connects knowledge, action, and communication. You feel motivated knowing that small creative acts, repeated consistently, grow into meaningful change over time. As the day passes, you notice the cumulative effect of daily habits. Morning routines, thoughtful meals, mindful energy use, careful water habits, recycling, walking, learning, sharing stories, and community connection, all these small actions create a pattern of sustainable living. You imagine weeks, months, and years of consistent practice. The small habits compound into a lifestyle that respects the earth, inspires others, and fosters hope. By evening, you sit quietly near a window, reflecting on your day. You see how small choices, repeated consistently, shape not only your life, but also the world around you. You write in your notebook, "Daily habits matter." Repetition grows responsibility. Small actions inspire. Stories create change. Sustainability is a way of life. The words feel alive. They remind you that personal responsibility and small routines, practiced slowly and consistently, can have lasting impact. Finally, you look at the night sky. Stars shine softly, and you feel connected to the earth, the people around you, and the future. You understand that sustainable living is a journey, built one day at a time. Every habit, every choice, every story told in simple English is part of this journey. You feel calm, inspired, and ready to continue. Your daily routines are not only practical, they are meaningful. They connect learning, action, reflection, and hope. This is the end of the day of daily habits and sustainable living. You feel empowered, inspired, and ready to continue your journey. You understand that small, consistent actions shape a better world, and your story, your voice, and your daily life are part of it. You are ready to continue speaking, acting, and inspiring change every day, knowing that sustainability grows slowly through patience, care, and persistence. The morning sun rises slowly, spilling golden light across your neighborhood. You wake up feeling calm and thoughtful. After many days of learning about climate change, solutions, personal responsibility, reflection, and daily habits, today you want to look forward. You want to imagine the future, the world you can help shape, and the stories you can share. You step outside, breathing the fresh air, noticing the trees swaying gently and birds singing. Every detail reminds you that the earth is alive, and your actions, words, and choices connect you to it. You begin by thinking about hope. Hope is not a simple feeling, it is a choice. You remember all the lessons you have learned. Small actions matter, communities matter, stories matter, and learning matters. You imagine a world where people act responsibly, share knowledge, and care for the earth. Even small actions, multiplied by many, can create a ripple of change. You feel inspired. Hope is not passive. It grows through action, consistency, and connection. Next, you reflect on connection. You realize that your actions are part of a global story. People across countries face the same challenges, and people across countries take similar steps to help. Farmers, students, teachers, neighbors, scientists, and volunteers all act in small and big ways. You imagine a web of people connected by care and responsibility, sharing knowledge and inspiring action. You feel connected to the world. Your life, your voice, and your actions are part of a larger, shared story. Then, you think about learning. You remember how learning English allows you to share stories, explain ideas, and connect with people globally. You imagine speaking slowly, clearly, and emotionally to friends, classmates, or even strangers, telling stories about climate change, solutions, and daily habits. You see how your voice can inspire others. Language becomes a tool for connection, understanding, and action. You feel excited knowing that your learning is not only for yourself, it can impact the lives of many. You also reflect on responsibility. You have learned that responsibility is personal and collective. Every small action counts: turning off a light, saving water, planting a tree, choosing local food, or walking instead of driving. Each choice is part of a larger pattern. You imagine the earth healing slowly as more people act responsibly, sharing knowledge and practicing care. Responsibility, practiced consistently, grows into hope, transformation, and positive change. Next, you think about creativity. You imagine writing stories, making videos, or drawing pictures to share ideas. Creative acts, even small ones, spread knowledge and inspiration. You imagine children learning from your stories, friends discussing solutions you share, and communities acting together. You feel motivated. Every creative effort, repeated and shared, adds to the global effort for a better world. Creativity is a bridge between knowledge, action, and emotion. Then, you reflect on patience. Change does not happen overnight. You imagine forests growing slowly, rivers becoming cleaner gradually, communities learning and acting step by step. You understand that patience is necessary. Small actions, repeated consistently over time, lead to lasting results. You feel calm, knowing that progress may be slow, but it is real. Hope and patience work together to create transformation. You also consider leadership. Leadership is not only for famous people or government officials. Everyone can lead by example. You imagine yourself showing responsibility, speaking clearly, sharing knowledge, and inspiring others through daily habits. Leadership is gentle. It is about action, communication, and care. You feel empowered knowing that your life, your choices, and your stories are part of the global leadership needed for change. Next, you reflect on community. Communities amplify the power of individuals. You imagine neighborhoods, schools, cities, and countries acting together to reduce pollution, protect forests, save water, and inspire education. You feel hopeful. Every small act in a community grows stronger when shared. Communities turn individual responsibility into collective impact. You imagine projects, gardens, clean streets, and children learning, small steps leading to big results. Then, you think about the future. You imagine a world where people act responsibly, share knowledge, care for the earth, and inspire each other. You imagine a future where children play in clean parks, rivers flow clearly, and forests thrive. You see communities connected through learning, action, and creativity. You feel inspired. This vision is not impossible. It grows from the actions you take today, the stories you share, and the habits you practice daily. You also reflect on yourself. You feel proud of your growth, awareness, and responsibility. You have learned about climate change, solutions, personal habits, reflection, storytelling, and hope. You have discovered that your voice matters and that daily actions, repeated consistently, create change. You feel motivated to continue learning English, sharing stories, acting responsibly, and inspiring others. Your journey is ongoing, and every step matters. As the sun sets, you sit quietly and write in your notebook. Hope is real. Connection is powerful. Responsibility grows. Stories inspire. Small actions matter. Creativity transforms. Patience creates change. Leadership is gentle. Communities amplify impact. The future is ours to shape. The words feel alive. They remind you that the story of climate change, responsibility, and hope is ongoing. You are part of it, and your actions, words, and learning are meaningful. Finally, you look at the night sky, full of stars. You feel calm, connected, and inspired. You understand that every day brings new opportunities to act, learn, and inspire. Your daily habits, storytelling, reflection, and responsibility create ripples that reach far beyond your immediate life. You feel ready for the journey ahead. Every word spoken in simple English, every small action taken, and every story shared adds to the global effort for a better world. Hope is alive, and the journey continues. This is the end of the day of hope and looking forward. You feel empowered, inspired, and connected. The story of climate change, responsibility, daily action, and hope continues, and your voice is part of it. You are ready to speak, act, and inspire change every day, knowing that every small step contributes to a brighter, cleaner, and more responsible world. The morning is quiet, and you wake up feeling thoughtful. After many days of learning about climate change, solutions, personal responsibility, daily habits, reflection, and hope, today is a day to wrap everything together. You step outside and notice the small details around you, the sunlight on leaves, birds moving in the trees, children playing nearby, and neighbors tending their gardens. Each detail reminds you that the world is alive and that you, too, are part of this life. Today, you want to reflect, connect all your lessons, and consider actions you can take every day. You begin by thinking about understanding. You remember learning about causes of climate change, energy use, transportation, deforestation, and pollution. At first, these ideas felt large and frightening. But over time, understanding has given you clarity. You realize that knowledge is powerful because it allows you to make better choices, teach others, and act responsibly. Understanding is the first step in every journey. Without it, action is random. With it, action becomes intentional. You feel grateful for what you have learned. Next, you reflect on challenges. You remember floods, heat waves, disappearing forests, and water shortages. At first, they seemed impossible to face. But you now see challenges as teachers. They inspire courage, creativity, and persistence. You imagine the people you have read about or observed, farmers protecting crops, communities planting trees, children learning about sustainability. Their perseverance shows that small, thoughtful action can overcome obstacles. Challenges remind you that responsibility requires effort and patience. Then, you reflect on solutions. Renewable energy, clean transportation, sustainable food, recycling, water conservation, community projects, all these solutions show that change is possible. You imagine yourself practicing these solutions daily, walking or cycling, reducing energy and water use, choosing food carefully, and sharing knowledge. You feel encouraged. Solutions are not abstract, they are simple actions repeated consistently. They grow into hope, transformation, and impact over time. You also reflect on personal responsibility. You have learned that responsibility is both personal and collective. Every small action, turning off a light, planting a tree, saving water, or speaking kindly contributes to a larger story. You imagine a world where everyone practices small acts of responsibility. You see cleaner streets, thriving forests, healthy rivers, and communities working together. Responsibility grows through repeated action and thoughtful choices, and every action matters. Next, you think about storytelling. Stories connect knowledge, action, and emotion. You imagine speaking in English clearly and slowly, telling friends, classmates, or neighbors about climate change, solutions, and personal responsibility. You see your stories inspiring others to act, share, and care. Language becomes a tool for change. Words are not just for communication, they carry ideas, hope, and motivation. Your voice, practiced with clarity, emotion, and patience, can make a real difference. Then, you reflect on daily habits. You realize that small, consistent actions shape your life and the world around you. Morning routines, mindful energy and water use, careful food choices, recycling, walking, and learning all combine to create a sustainable lifestyle. You imagine weeks and months of consistent practice where habits become natural. You see the long-term effect of small actions multiplied by many people over time. Habits, repeated consistently, create culture and change. You also reflect on community. Individual actions are powerful, but together they are stronger. You imagine neighborhoods, schools, cities, and countries acting together. Communities plant trees, clean rivers, share knowledge, and inspire action. Each person contributes, and the collective impact grows. You feel connected to people across the world, all working toward the same goals. Communities amplify hope, action, and responsibility. Next, you think about creativity and innovation. Each day, creative actions, writing, drawing, making videos, sharing ideas, spread knowledge, and inspire others. Innovation in energy, transportation, and food can help reduce harm to the planet. You imagine yourself contributing with small creative acts, repeated consistently. Creativity turns knowledge into action and inspiration. You feel motivated knowing that even small ideas can grow into meaningful impact. Then you reflect on hope and patience. Change does not happen overnight. Forests grow slowly, rivers recover gradually, and communities learn step by step. Patience is essential. You realize that hope is not passive, it is an active choice. Acting, sharing knowledge, inspiring others, and repeating small actions every day create hope. You imagine a world where patience, persistence, and responsibility shape a better future. You feel calm and empowered. Finally, you reflect on your journey. You have learned, acted, reflected, and grown. You have practiced responsibility, daily habits, storytelling, and hope. You realize that your voice, your actions, and your habits are meaningful. You feel proud, inspired, and motivated to continue. You write in your notebook, "Understanding is power. Challenges teach. Solutions exist. Responsibility matters. Stories inspire. Habits create change. Communities amplify action. Creativity spreads hope. Patience and persistence shape the future." The words feel alive. They remind you that the journey is ongoing and that every day brings new opportunities to act, learn, and inspire. As the evening sky fills with stars, you sit quietly and reflect. You feel connected to the earth, to people around you, and to the future. You understand that climate change, responsibility, and hope are part of a larger story, a story you are part of. You feel calm, empowered, and ready to continue speaking, acting, and inspiring change every day. Every small step, every story told, every habit practiced contributes to a brighter, cleaner, and more responsible world. This is the end of your journey for now. You feel inspired, hopeful, and ready to continue learning English, telling stories, acting responsibly, and sharing your knowledge. The story of climate change and hope continues, and your voice, your choices, and your actions are a meaningful part of it. The morning is quiet, and you wake up feeling thoughtful. Sunlight on leaves, birds moving in the trees, children playing nearby, and neighbors tending their gardens. Each detail reminds you that the world is alive and that you, too, are part of this life. Today, you want to reflect, connect all your lessons, and consider actions you can take every day. You begin by thinking about understanding. You remember learning about causes of climate change, energy use, transportation, deforestation, and pollution. At first, these ideas felt large and frightening. But over time, understanding has given you clarity. You realize that knowledge is powerful because it allows you to make better choices, teach others, and act responsibly. Understanding is the first step in every journey. Without it, action is random. With it, action becomes intentional. You feel grateful for what you have learned. Next, you reflect on challenges. You remember floods, heat waves, disappearing forests, and water shortages. At first, they seemed impossible to face. But you now see challenges as teachers. They inspire courage, creativity, and persistence. You imagine the people you have read about or observed, farmers protecting crops, communities planting trees, children learning about sustainability. Their perseverance shows that small, thoughtful action can overcome obstacles. Challenges remind you that responsibility requires effort and patience. Then, you reflect on solutions. Renewable energy, clean transportation, sustainable food, recycling, water conservation, community projects, all these solutions show that change is possible. You imagine yourself practicing these solutions daily, walking or cycling, reducing energy and water use, choosing food carefully, and sharing knowledge. You feel encouraged. Solutions are not abstract, they are simple actions repeated consistently. They grow into hope, transformation, and impact over time. You also reflect on personal responsibility. You have learned that responsibility is both personal and collective. Every small action, turning off a light, planting a tree, saving water, or speaking kindly contributes to a larger story. You imagine a world where everyone practices small acts of responsibility. You see cleaner streets, thriving forests, healthy rivers, and communities working together. Responsibility grows through repeated action and thoughtful choices, and every action matters. Next, you think about storytelling. Stories connect knowledge, action, and emotion. You imagine speaking in English clearly and slowly, telling friends, classmates, or neighbors about climate change, solutions, and personal responsibility. You see your stories inspiring others to act, share, and care. Language becomes a tool for change. Words are not just for communication, they carry ideas, hope, and motivation. Your voice, practiced with clarity, emotion, and patience, can make a real difference. Then, you reflect on daily habits. You realize that small, consistent actions shape your life and the world around you. Morning routines, mindful energy and water use, careful food choices, recycling, walking, and learning all combine to create a sustainable lifestyle. You imagine weeks and months of consistent practice where habits become natural. You see the long-term effect of small actions multiplied by many people over time. Habits, repeated consistently, create culture and change. You also reflect on community. Individual actions are powerful, but together they are stronger. You imagine neighborhoods, schools, cities, and countries acting together. Communities plant trees, clean rivers, share knowledge, and inspire action. Each person contributes, and the collective impact grows. You feel connected to people across the world, all working toward the same goals. Communities amplify hope, action, and responsibility. Next, you think about creativity and innovation. Each day, creative actions, writing, drawing, making videos, sharing ideas, spread knowledge, and inspire others. Innovation in energy, transportation, and food can help reduce harm to the planet. You imagine yourself contributing with small creative acts, repeated consistently. Creativity turns knowledge into action and inspiration. You feel motivated knowing that even small ideas can grow into meaningful impact. Then you reflect on hope and patience. Change does not happen overnight. Forests grow slowly, rivers recover gradually, and communities learn step by step. Patience is essential. You realize that hope is not passive, it is an active choice. Acting, sharing knowledge, inspiring others, and repeating small actions every day create hope. You imagine a world where patience, persistence, and responsibility shape a better future. You feel calm and empowered. Finally, you reflect on your journey. You have learned, acted, reflected, and grown. You have practiced responsibility, daily habits, storytelling, and hope. You realize that your voice, your actions, and your habits are meaningful. You feel proud, inspired, and motivated to continue. You write in your notebook, "Understanding is power. Challenges teach. Solutions exist. Responsibility matters. Stories inspire. Habits create change. Communities amplify action. Creativity spreads hope. Patience and persistence shape the future." The words feel alive. They remind you that the journey is ongoing and that every day brings new opportunities to act, learn, and inspire. As the evening sky fills with stars, you sit quietly and reflect. You feel connected to the earth, to people around you, and to the future. You understand that climate change, responsibility, and hope are part of a larger story, a story you are part of. You feel calm, empowered, and ready to continue speaking, acting, and inspiring change every day. Every small step, every story told, every habit practiced contributes to a brighter, cleaner, and more responsible world. This is the end of your journey for now. You feel inspired, hopeful, and ready to continue learning English, telling stories, acting responsibly, and sharing your knowledge. The story of climate change and hope continues, and your voice, your choices, and your actions are a meaningful part of it.